Little Bit of Crafting. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States, trying to come to you live on Wednesday, May 7th. Having a little bit of internet issues, so we'll see. Hopefully I'm not making you too dizzy here too. I'm trying to get the screen to stay where I want it to, but it doesn't want to cooperate. So, welcome. Thanks for stopping in and joining me for hopefully will be just a few minutes. Last night, or the last video, I think it was last night, but it ended this morning. I went a lot longer than I expected to. It didn't seem like it was that long, but I think I was just so excited about being able to show you the inside of the new catalog that I just kind of lost track of time. And I had one last card I wanted to show you, or to work on with some scraps. So let me just review from this Share a Smile kit. This is a new kit that I was able to play with last week early when I went to a Midwest demonstrator event. And pardon me for just a second. I'm actually going to pop a soda. I don't usually have soda, but my water's gone and I don't want to leave. And I was thirsty there for a second. So anyway, we got to play with this kit on Friday in Hobart, Indiana. And I thought this kit was just adorable. So if you missed it the last couple of nights, I did show some of the cards. Like this is this one here. I actually followed the directions. This is this one. And again, I pretty much followed the directions. We've got this one and then this one. All right, so I made that one a little different, but mostly how it was designed. Okay, and then I took these other 4 cards, and in my last video then I showed some of the alternate things that I was going to do with them. So with this one, I did not use this sunburst paper. Now when I showed you, like here, when I showed you these card bases, the design goes all the way to the back of the card. And for me, I mean, that's cool that it goes all the way around, but I could use this for a whole nother card. So this particular base I cut off to be a card front size and did this card, okay? But then I had some of the extra pieces like from around here and here and here because I wanted the starburst pretty much in the middle. And then I camouflaged the score line, all right? So those scraps are what I'm going to use for the very last alternate that I have for this particular card. So anyway, this one I didn't use the sunburst. I did use the little notebook page and the cactus. I guess I forgot to use some of those extra stickers with the flowers, and I'm not sure where mine went. They're here somewhere. I'm a messy stamper. I've mentioned that before. And I am a putsy stamper. So let me just forget about those. I'll put those on later if I find them. All right. So anyway, this was my alternate for here. And again, I followed the layout pretty closely. And then there's another envelope somewhere. I'll find that too. I move. Oh, well, I can't because I put this on a regular card base size. So I will use one of my regular medium envelopes, and I will probably, I don't know, I'll probably do something with the fresh freesia on the envelope flap or on the front of the card. All right. So I'll set that aside. So this was my other alternative that I used some of this paper for. Now that score line, as I told you, was over here. So I've covered that up. I've covered it up with the sun, which I trimmed part of it because I didn't want the sun in the center because then you could see some of that starburst design. So I wanted the sun to cover all of that. And I just added some of this baker's twine that comes in, I think this is Balmy Blue. That's probably Coastal Cabana and Lemon Lolly. I don't think the colors are on here, but I think that's what they are. This is still available. It was in the annual catalog. I don't know if it carried over to the catalog or if it's an online exclusive. But either way, there's those. All right. And I'm going to try to find my page here because I would like to see if anybody's joining me live. And watch comments if possible. So I just have to, normally I get it like a pop-up, but our Wi-Fi wasn't responding. So I'm not sure what's up with that. And I'm just trying to put in Lori's Little Bit of Craftin to see if I can get this to come up. It does come up, but it doesn't show that I'm live. So my tablet, my iPad must still maybe not be connecting. So if you're live with me, I apologize that I can't see any of your comments tonight. I'm still getting used to some of those comments coming in, so sometimes I miss them anyway. But if I see them, I will certainly try to respond to them once I go live, or once I review them after I've done making the live. So anyway, back on track here. I've just put a nice little layer inside for this one. And then this card I had laid out as well. So that would be this one with the toucan. Now I used the Everyday Arches to cut this part way. So what I did was when I was running this through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, I had the die one side of the arch just at the edge of my cutting plate. So when I put it through the machine, that part was not making contact between the two cutting plates. So I was able to make this little door. All right. So I put my toucan inside. So here's the toucan. I put the toucan inside up on dimensionals. And then I had another layer of white cardstock underneath here. And I used tissue paper from a paper pumpkin kit. And just some multi-purpose liquid glue. And I crinkled it on there so it kind of looks like sky-ish color. Okay. And then I just put a piece of the basic white inside. But I thought that was kind of fun. As soon as I saw this arch piece, that's what I thought of doing. All right. And then I had an extra piece of this because the one that I did, the second one I did, I cut in half, right? And what I've done then is I cut down these pieces here into strips. I got a card base. I cut an inch off. So instead of 8.5, it's 7.5. It was still scored in the middle. But when I folded over, then I could put one of the strips here. And then I had from the ephemera pack, which one was it? This one. This ephemera pack, this Labels and Layers ephemera pack, had some, these are just all die cut pieces basically. So they had these two pieces in the color match. So I put them together to make it look like a big rectangle. And then I kept this other piece here as a rectangle. This was from that same ephemera pack, that Labels and Layers ephemera pack. And I just did the sentiment with this Notes and Totes. I told you this was my favorite one out of the catalog. So no surprise that I used that. And then I just used some peach pie cardstock, and I used the Forever Plaid 3D embossing folder and just put in sideways in the folder when I ran it through. and got this little dine and basically was following a sketch for a page that I'm participating with this month, a card a day in May. So I used this to follow the sketch, and then I used one more little scrap to put on the front of my envelope. And then normally I do not put any kind of embellishments on the inside of my card because I don't like them poking through the front of my card as it goes through the postal service machines. But I figured since this was cut to kind of be a fun fold, these pieces could go there. Those embellishments could go there, and I thought it looked balanced that way. And then my third one is there. All right. So those were all of the alternate cards that I got through. Now, I still had the rest of this Starburst page or sheet. So what I did was I cut them in strips, and then I cut them down to 3.5 and 3.25, I think. Yep, so 3.5, some are 3.5, a couple are 3.25, okay? And that is just so that I can kind of mix them up size-wise and have them kind of alternating. And then what I thought I would do, I have a layer here that's 3.75 by 5. So these are going to go on here. I take that back. Those aren't going to go on there. I'm going to put this inside my card. And then I took some more pieces out of another ephemera pack. The Something for Everything ephemera pack. And this just has a bunch of them. And the die cuts are, they're laser cut, so they're just attached with little pieces. So I just put all mine in this package so I can see them easier. That's a clear stamp case that Stampin' Up has. So let's get back here. What I'm doing is I took our Darling Duckling, because I think that's the color. Oh, actually they've got crushed curry on here as a color, so light and dark crushed curry. But I looked at the Darling Duckling, it's close enough. And I saw that Coastal Cabana and Melon Mambo are a couple of the colors that coordinate well with this. So I got a Melon Mambo piece, I got a Coastal Cabana piece, and I thought, okay, what can we make with these colors? So my 8.5 by 5.5, both of these started at 8.5 by 5.5. So I would have scored it at 4.25, but then I ended up taking off 3/4 of an inch. This is going to be my front. So let me just burnish this score line a little bit so it lays a little flatter. So these I'm going to put randomly on here. And then these items from the ephemera pack I'm going to put on here. We'll kind of go like this. And these I haven't decided. Maybe I should put those so that they're not exactly straight, so it looks a little more random. I don't know, maybe that'll be too busy. But then I'm also going to have this little sentiment from another ephemera pack. Let me grab that. I should have kept it out. I did keep it out. It's right here. So this other ephemera pack is the Saying Something ephemera pack. So I took this heck yeah out of there. All right. So this is going to be kind of the front of my card and the base. So then this piece was 8.5 by 5.5, but I trimmed down 1/4 inch from what will be the height, and I trimmed 1/4 inch off of there. So it started out as being scored at 4.25, like it would be for a normal card, but then I just took 1/8 inch off of each side. Okay, so then what I plan to do with this is I'm going to put this like so. And I'm going to attach this in here so the inside kind of has a little border. So let's go ahead and glue this on. Now I kind of laid this out in my head, but not logistically on my crafting table here. So we'll see how it turns out. So this we'll put in here, and I'm going kind of to the outside edge of that score line because I don't really want it on the bump. Okay. All right. So this will go like so. So let's go ahead and put these little pieces on here. Let's lay them one more time. And I'm just going to use a block quick to kind of hold that down. We'll lay these kind of straight and then maybe kind of crooked, and we'll see how we want them to be. We've got a couple nubs on there too that will bother me. These are from the laser cut sheets. They're not very big nubs, and most people probably wouldn't notice them, but I kind of notice them. And you might not even be able to see them with my camera view at the distance it is, but they will definitely be noticeable to me. All right, so let's go ahead and put these back on here. And we could have the spacing quite even, or we could have it varied. And then when we put these pieces on, basically I have some friends who will be traveling, so I thought maybe I could give this to them and say, heck yeah, enjoy your trip. So we'll kind of maybe do that. And then that could go there. So that could kind of go something like that. Let's start working on getting these down. I think I like them straighter than more crooked. Just because with the lines on there, they're kind of busy anyway. And I don't want to make it more busy than it needs to be, I guess. Oh. And I need to be careful here because I put glue all the way to the end of here. So let's wipe this off. And then I'm going to use an embossing buddy to kind of dry that off, and a rubber eraser. Hopefully I didn't just rip that. And we'll get that adhesive off of there. There. Okay, we're good. Whew. All right, so let's be a little more careful this time when I'm doing my gluing. So I will avoid about 1/8 inch on this side. Sometimes I just don't think ahead. All right. And I'm purposefully getting them kind of jagged here because that's kind of the look I'm going for. And then this one, I think I'm going to put this one on next, and we'll keep at least 3/8 of an inch, I think. Not gluey. And that worked pretty good. And then this one, I think I'm going to trim this a little shorter. Take off another 1/4 inch or so. And then we can glue this. Just put that right about there. Make sure no glue is hanging over the sides. All right. And then these pieces, I think I'll put up on dimensionals. because that'll give it a little more depth. Alrighty. So this we'll kind of put here. We'll put our little ship over there. Or sailboat, rather. I guess that's not a ship. And this one is actually laser cut as well. So this little sailboat could actually come out of there. What I'm going to do is just use some tear and tape here and make sure that it doesn't come loose, because that would not be fun to have my little sailboat get lost. When the recipient gets the card. All right. So we'll do that. And then this can actually go there. I think that works. So sometimes you just have to take some scraps and start doing it. All right. So I kind of like that. Now, so this is kind of a little fun fold there. This is going to come in here. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. I have found that leaving the insides of my cards without a sentiment sometimes works really well for me, because when I start writing stuff in there, I run out of room a lot of times. So if I leave it blank, then I have more room to work. And let's see about getting another, maybe just the sailboat in there. I think I had one more sailboat. Yep, I have this sailboat. We'll just do the sailboat without the square. Yeah, we'll get rid of that. And then this can just get attached here. Or maybe there. I think I'll do it over there. They won't be going on a sailboat. They'll be going on a cruise ship, but you get the idea. And I like it that the ship is going toward the center. If I would put it over here, I'd be thinking it's going away from my center. All right. So this kind of looks bare right now, right? So what I'm going to do is, this was another piece from this kit that I didn't use in other cards. So I just wrote on here places to go, people to see, things to do, and that's going to go in here. And I just want to make sure that I have enough space for it to not hang over the edge. So this is going to here. So I want to make sure that this does not get glued past that point. All right, so let's put a little multi-purpose glue here. And I'm not going to glue down those little tabs because I kind of like it looking like it just got ripped out of a notebook. And we'll just put this like this. And these were those couple of strips that we cut off. I wonder, that's probably a little too much, huh? A little too messy. I don't like that. So we'll just go like this. And let's see if we put some embellishments on here, if that would maybe be a little overkill. Let's try it. If I lay them softly down, we can always lift them up if I don't like them. So let's do just 3 of these. 1, 2, and 3. All right, so you'll have to tell me with or without the embellishments. And these are the flat in color pearls. Yep, the in color flat pearls. So these are all the new colors. So we've got the Secret Sky, Cloud Cover, Timid Tiger, Darling Duckling, and Strawberry Slush. Alrighty, so that is that. What do you think? Scraps or leftover pieces, and ready to go. Just a fun little easy fun fold. So let me know what you think. If you think the embellishments need to be on there, I kind of like it that way. So then I'll just have to figure out what I want to do to make sure that my envelope is not naked. But if I use one of the Starburst envelopes, that won't work because this is a bigger size and these were note cards. So I'll figure out something to do on my envelope. So this is all I have for you tonight. This kit is awesome fun. And let me see if I can find, if I can find the price on this quick. Because it should be, excuse my typing arms there. It should be in the kits collection. This kit is only $14. So you get to make these 8 cards. It comes with the envelopes and it comes with a box to put them in. So obviously the cards that I made are normal, like A2 size, I think is what they call this. The 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch card. Those will not fit in this box, I doubt, because it was designed for the note cards. So this is a size card that it was really designed for. So you can see these are a little bit bigger. All right, but this kit, because there's not a stamp set, so there's not an ink spot, there's not a stamping spot, and there's not a set of photopolymer stamps. Everything you need is in the box, though. Your tear and tape is in the box. There's dimensionals in the box, the envelopes, the storage box, and all of the die laser cut pieces that you need to make 8 cards are all in this box for $14 plus shipping in the United States. So very fun kit. I've used almost all of the pieces now. This is all I have left. So we'll see what I can make with that. All right. So until next time, this is all I've got for you. Happy crafting.